to Leadership Beyond Burnout. This is the space for women who look put together on the outside, but they are tired of holding everything together on the inside. I'm Dr. Kimberly Wilson, a retired Marine, psychologist, keynote speaker, and creator of the Reclaim, Release, and Reset retreats. So I help women move from nervous system survival mode and overfunctioning into leadership and lives that actually fit them. So if you're done being on the strong one who has to hold everything in together, then you've landed in the right place. Let's get into today's conversation. And it's an important one. So you don't just wake up one day feeling resentful, right? Feeling bitter. You get there through a very specific loop. You overfunction, they underfunction, you resent, and then overfunction even more. So today we're going to name that loop in your real life and start loosening its grip so that you can get into a different cycle, step into the next chapter where you no longer feel resentful and feel good. So today's show is entitled Why You're Angry at Everyone and Still Doing Everything, the Overfunctioning Resentment Loop. So if you've ever found yourself slamming a cabinet a little too hard or washing dishes with just a little extra intensity, thinking, why am I the only one who cares? Why am I the only one who does everything? Then this is the episode for you. So sit back and relax. Because most women I meet, they are living inside the same pattern. You do more, they do less. You resent, you say nothing. And then you do even more to avoid the discomfort of changing it. So that's the overfunctioning, underfunctioning resentment loop. So today I want to help you see it clearly in your life and understand why it's so hard to step out of, because it's not all your fault. So, and what I want you to do is try a few tiny experiments that can start shifting it without blowing up your whole world overnight. That's the mistake that so many make. They make drastic, radical changes that either are not sustainable because they were so rapid and they didn't gain the skills to support it. And then there's just revolt, not only from themselves, but people in their lives. So let's start with what overfunctioning actually looks like. So, overfunctioning is when you consistently do more than your share. And some of you are nodding because you know exactly what I'm talking about. You take responsibility for other people's tasks, feelings, or outcomes. Sometimes you step in before others have a chance to step up. At work, this might look like fixing everyone's mistakes so the team doesn't look bad. Maybe it's volunteering for extra projects because the silence feels unbearable. Sometimes it's staying late to finish things that were never actually yours or taking work home that wasn't yours. Now, at home, it might look like being the default parent, even with adult kids. And I've caught myself in that loop as well. Managing all the logistics, the birthdays, the appointments, and the meals. I remember my son saying, Mom, can you please just do it? I don't like being an adult. And it takes a while to not feel snookered into those whining eyes and voices and just go ahead and do it for them because it's easier than explaining it. So it also might look like doing things for your partner that they are fully capable of doing themselves. With extended family or community, it might look like hosting every holiday because no one else is going to do it, right? Right? Or being the person everyone calls in crisis at any hour, at any time, even if you're working. It could be handling the emotional fallout when two other people are in conflict. You are the problem solver. But here's the key: overfunctioning is not just helping, it's helping at your expense. It's helping in ways that prevent others from carrying their rightful load. And sometimes that's could even be called enabling. Now, here's the part that's hard to swallow. Overfunctioning creates underfunctioning around you. The more that you jump in, the less others have to. And just think about it for a minute. If you always remind your partner about certain bills, they never have to develop their own system because you got it. The system is that you're going to remind them. If you always rewrite your team's work, they never have to grow that skill. You become the default reviewer. If you always manage the emotions in the room, no one else learns to sit with the discomfort or repair, because no one repairs anything that they're comfortable with, that they're enjoying, that they benefit from. So they need to be able to sit in that discomfort. And you're exhausted, and they are they're underdeveloped. You resent that they're not stepping up. They don't even know that there's a space for them to step into because, let's face it, you are always filling it. You feel like you're drowning in responsibilities, and they feel like this is just how it is. She's got it. So, this is not because they're evil or they're lazy, it's because the system has trained everyone to rely on your over functioning. And you do it from a place of love, but it's exhausting you. It's killing you. I know. I've been that girly. I struggle with that. And the systems will always take the path of least resistance. Think about it. If you were going to take a walk in the woods or in the mountain, you're not going to go through that patch where there's no path to walk on. You're not going to go through the bush and the insects and all that grass. You take the path of least resistance where it's already worn. And that's what everyone else is doing. That's what you're doing. So, why is it that you stay in this loop? If you're listening to this and thinking, okay, that's me, guilty. Um, but I don't know how to stop, because let's face it, we've been doing this for years. And I say we because I'm definitely guilty of it. And I have to stop myself at times. Let's talk about why this loop is so sticky and so difficult to get out of. So there are three big reasons. First, identity. You've been rewarded your whole life for being responsible, reliable, the strong one. People say, we really couldn't do this without you. You're a lifesaver. You're the rock. And the truth is that that praise feels good because we don't get praise very often. So even if it's misguided praise and it's at your expense, it feels good, and it also traps you. Because if you stop over functioning, who are you now? What happens to your identity as the one who can handle everything? In the friend group, in the family, at work, who do you become? The second reason is guilt and fear. You worry that if you stop doing too much, things will fall apart. People will be disappointed in you, right? Maybe they'll call you selfish or uncaring. And we know this isn't the case. But those words, they hit you. So you tell yourself, it's just easier if I do it. Now, in the short term, that's true. In the long term, you're teaching people that your limits don't matter and that they never have to adjust. Let's get to the third reason: nervous system wiring. If you've lived in chronic stress, your nervous system can get used to just being on all the time. Calm can feel unfamiliar. Like, what is this? It feels uncomfortable. Doing less can feel unsafe. And I know that sounds weird, but it just feels off. So you keep moving, fixing, and managing because your body associates slowing down with danger. Like, you'll be flooded with feelings or conflict if you stop, if you don't do the thing. So when you understand this and you begin to integrate it, you can stop shaming yourself and start working with your system, not against it. Now, and when I say all of this, the three reasons, I'm not negating the fact that systemically most systems are dysfunctional and that we just kind of get in where we fit in. So systems need to change as well, whether that's work, patriarchal societies, our family systems, our cultures. Yes, absolutely, they need to shift. This is not all our fault. Um, I bring this up because it takes time for systems to change, it takes concerted effort. And sometimes not all of us have the power to change the system, but we do have the power to change how we interact and respond within those systems. So I definitely don't want you to feel as if I'm saying it's your fault, but there are some areas that we can take a hold of and be our own director. So where are you in the loop? Let's bring this from a theory and into your actual life. I want I want to ask you some questions. So if you could pause after each one and really answer, this is going to be helpful. So, firstly, where do you function the most? Is it at work, home? Is it family, or all of the above? And I'm going to pause just for a second to let you think about that. Work, home, family, or all the above? Let's add in there friendships too. Second question: what do you tell yourself to justify? And while you're thinking about that, I'm going to share some possible phrases that might come up for you. It's easier if I just do it. I'm guilty of that one. Um, they have so much on their plate. I just want to help. No one else will do it. Ugh, I might as well do it because I don't want to start a fight. So think about those for a moment. Third question: what does resentment sound like in your head? So maybe it's, I do everything around here. No one appreciates me. I'm sick and tired of being the only one who notices what's going on around here. That's one of my favorite. If I stopped, everything would collapse. Think about that. So notice you're mad at them and mad at yourself, but you keep playing your role as if you were cast in it and you're getting paid to do this role. But we both know that you're not. So this isn't about blame. This is about pattern recognition. identifying like what is it that keeps happening, because you cannot change what you refuse to see or what you've been blinded by. And you can notice this in the everyday world. So there are things on your desk, in your car, that you're just blind to because you see it every day and it just becomes invisible. But when someone else gets in your car, they're like, "Hey, when did that ink get on your seat?" And you're like, "What? Where? What ink? Where? Oh man, I forgot about that." Or, "Yeah, I meant to get that." It just becomes invisible. So that's what happens when you don't recognize the pattern. So that's our goal, to be able to begin to recognize, identify, and interrupt that pattern. So now I'm not going to tell you to go home and drop every ball that you've been carrying, because that's just unrealistic. And let's face it, that would blow up your life and your nervous system. So we're going to think, let's do this as an experiment. Just explore and find an experiment. So here are three tiny ways to start shifting that loop. So I hope you find these helpful. The first experiment, let's call that the strategic non-rescue. Choose one area where you normally jump in. Maybe it's reminding a coworker of a deadline. Maybe it's checking your adult child's banking app. Hmm. Maybe it's refilling household items before they run out. What I'm going to suggest is just for 1 week, don't do it. Say nothing and watch what happens. People might stumble a little bit. They might notice. They might not. The point is not to have perfect execution or perfection. The point is to experience in your body that you are allowed to stop preventing other people's consequences. I know one of the first things that I experimented with is I stopped throwing away the empty packages that remained in the refrigerator or the cabinet, and tell me, that was a hard experience, because it would just drive me crazy, because nothing is worse than grabbing for something you see that you've been wanting or desiring and then discovering there's nothing in there. So maybe try that first experiment and just notice what happens in your body when you stop. Experiment two, ask instead of assuming. So the next time you're about to take something on, ask one question out loud: who else can handle part of this? And then ask them. Take the step to ask them. At work, this might sound like, I can own this piece of the project. Who can take X and Y? And now I know this may feel like you're leading the project, but you're not. What that is you are owning what you are best at, what you want to be responsible with. You are changing the dynamic of you just doing everything by default or doing the things that are unpleasurable for others. At home, that out loud question could be, I'm willing to handle the main dish. Who can take sides and clean up? Ugh, because there is nothing, at least for me, there is nothing more irritating than prepping the meal, cooking the meal, serving the meal, then needing to wash the dishes. That is diabolical. So when you do this, you are opening a door for other people to begin to function. The third experiment, name the load. Have one honest conversation with someone close to you, not a blow up, not a martyr speech, just something like, hey, I've realized I've been carrying a lot of things, logistics, planning, emotional check ins, and I'm feeling a little burnt out. I'd like us to begin to look at what we can redistribute. So you're not accusing, you are inviting. Because sometimes, just face some people just don't notice what they're not responsible for. They feel as if you've got it because you've never said anything. So you are offering them the opportunity to take on a few things. And for some, it might be a welcome invitation. Maybe they've been feeling like, dang, I wish I could do more for her. So, will everyone respond perfectly? No. It would be so wonderful if this were a Norman Rockwell image or a great Lifetime movie, but it's not. What is going to happen is that you will begin to step out of this silent resentment and begin to step into honest communication and conversations. So I want you to hear this. You are not resentful because you're ungrateful or dramatic, right? Like that is sometimes what gets told. You're just being dramatic. You are resentful because you've been over functioning for too long in systems that are very uncomfortable, excuse me, in systems that are very comfortable allowing you to do that. Okay. So resentment is a signal, and it's something that you've been saying yes when your body and your soul were screaming no. And I know you've heard it. Breaking the overfunctioning loop doesn't start with a big speech. It can start with one non rescue because let's face it, the big speech and the big blow up has never worked. It might work just for a moment until you're done blowing up. It starts with one non rescue, one ask, one honest conversation, and then another. So you don't have to keep living as a strong one with no place to land. And so TV shows, podcast episodes, they can give you awareness, but change, especially for women wired to overfunction, usually requires space, support, and structure. So this is why I created the Reclaim, Release, Reset Retreat. It's a space where women try to fit it's a space where women who try to fit everything for everyone can put the mental load down. They can regulate their nervous systems and get clear on what they will and will not carry going forward. It is 3 intense days. So, for a few days, you won't be the default fixer. You will not be the emotional glue. You are allowed to let other people hold you while you remember what you need. So if your body is saying, that's exactly what I need, pay attention to that. Now, all the details for the upcoming retreat uh, will be in the show notes. It's also here at the bottom banner if you'd like to learn more. Love to have a conversation with you. Check out the site so you don't have to keep being angry at everyone while doing everything. You are allowed to step out of the loop. Now, this has been Leadership Beyond Burnout, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so